Good morning and thanks for waking up with us. This morning we're waking up with Shannon Bruzek from the ARC, or the Animal Rescue Center of Bay County. Shannon, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for getting up early and coming out here.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just waking up. It was a rough night.
I'm telling you.
You know, the dirty little secret of this show is that it's pre-recorded, so it was a very rainy, stormy night last night.
Yes, it was.
Yes, so it was, and the animals were going crazy.
All the animals, including my fosters, were off the wall last night.
Yeah, tell me about the ARC and the Animal Rescue Center. Now, there is really no facility.
Right, exactly. We don't have what people in the community call a shelter. We don't have a hard shelter for people to go and view our animals. What we have is an all volunteer-based organization consisting of volunteers who help with events and things like that. And then we have our fosters. And what those fosters do...
are these foster animals that you don't really adopt, you kind of adopt for a short time.
Right. We go to Bay County Animal Control and we pull the animals out of the shelter to prevent them from being euthanized.
So you take them off at death row, so to speak.
Exactly,
And give them a reprieve.
That's right, and these fosters take them into their home. And what our goal is to take an animal that's been thrown away and create a wonderful, loving pet for someone to adopt. And we do that by bringing these animals into our home and treating them like our own and handling them and loving them and nurturing them, getting them medically treated and ready for someone to take right into their home and just fit right in with their own family.
Do you take all animals that are about to be euthanized, or are you kind of selective on who you take?
The founders go in, we have what we call shelter days, and they meet with fosters who have available openings in their home, and they go through and select the animals that are
most likely to be adopted,
perhaps?
Exactly,
exactly. Most likely to be adopted. And a lot of the fosters, you know, all the fosters who are going to pull meet at the shelter, and they walk through with the founders and help select the animals that they're going to take into their home.
So if you're a foster parent or you become a foster parent to these animals, how long is the average stay?
It depends. I mean, it depends on the time of year. Sometimes of year it takes, you know, people are busy, so adoptions don't happen as fast. I've had some 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They were seen on Facebook or one of the websites we had them on. An application occurred and they were adopted. And I've had some as long as 4 or 5 months, because during the Christmas holidays it tends to slow down. We kept them through the New Year, and in our next event they were adopted. So
that's cool. Now, if somebody wants to adopt it, we go to Facebook, so we look for the Animal Rescue Center on Facebook.
Right. You can go to adopt. You can view all of our animals at adoptbay.com.
At adoptbay.com.
Right.
I told you it was early. And we got to run off to the local weather, but on the other side of the weather, I want to talk about how people can help. It's one thing to adopt,
right?
But what if someone wants to become a foster parent?
Exactly.
Or maybe they can't become a foster parent, but they want to help you somehow.
Exactly.
In your noble mission of helping our little furry friends find good homes and getting them off of death row.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be right back after your local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm. westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Shannon Bruzek from the ARC, or the Animal Rescue Center of Bay County. Shannon, we talked about what the ARC does in the previous segment, that you guys actually take poor little animals off of death row because you're a no-kill shelter.
Right.
There really is no shelter except people's homes.
Correct.
And you become a foster parent of a little animal, of a dog or a cat,
right, until
someone... Just dogs and cats, right?
Yes.
Not ferrets or anything weird.
Just dogs
and
cats.
No snakes or anything.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Until someone adopts them. And you advertise these adoptions on your Facebook page.
Correct.
And the website is what again?
Adoptbay.com.
Adoptbay.com. Now, if somebody's watching this and they want to help, or they want to become a foster parent, how do they do that?
There's an application on the website. If they go to adoptbay.com, they'll see a button that they can push to volunteer. And they fill out that application, and somebody will contact them shortly to ask them how they're wanting to help the facility, what exactly way are they wanting to volunteer. We have many different ways to volunteer. We have events. People can come help set up for events, talk to the public about the Animal Rescue Center. The most critical need we have right now, besides being a foster parent, is the adoption center at PetSmart. Our cats rotate in and out of there to get FaceTime to the public, because people, if they can touch it and hold it and feel it, they love getting that interaction with the animal to see if they're going to bond. And we rotate our cats in and out of there, and those cats, it's critical that they have time out of the cages to play. So we have shifts that people can work in there.
And play with the cats?
And play with cats.
At PetSmart.
Exactly.
What a cool job that is.
How much better can it get?
And how much of a commitment is that? Is it like a couple times a week?
It's as much or as little as you want to commit. We have a calendar. We have a person who runs that calendar. You just let them know, I can work 2 shifts this month.
Speaking of a calendar, how's this for a segue? You have a special event coming up, don't
yes,
you?
Yes. Saturday, October the 25th, we're having a masquerade gala at the Boardwalk Beach Resort, and it is benefiting 5 rescue organizations here in Bay County.
Oh, not just you guys.
Not just the Animal Rescue Center, the Humane Society, Panama City Beach Paws and Claws, Operation Spay Bay, and Castaway Cats are all going to benefit from this incredible event. And it's going to be at 7 o'clock, masquerade, so you need to wear a mask. Okay. It's black tie optional, and it is going to be a great time.
How do we get tickets for this, or can we just show up at the door?
MasqueradeGala.org. You can buy tickets there, or you can get them at the door.
MasqueradeGala.org.
Yes.
Or just get tickets at the door, but bring a mask.
Exactly. Bring a mask.
And black tie optional.
Yep. Exactly.
The Animal Rescue Center of Bay County.
Exactly.
Along with all these other volunteer agencies, as well as the Bay County Animal Services, is doing a great job for our furry friends, don't you think?
Yes, I do. I really do.
And there's always more to be done, though.
Exactly. And that's why we are reaching out to the community right now, asking for fosters. We are in great need of fosters. The more fosters we have, the more people willing to take these little animals into their home and love them as their own for a short time and watch them go to a great home, because our founders are very diligent in ensuring that these animals get to the right home. The more of those we have, the more we can pull from Bay County Animal Control and prevent their death.
Shannon Bruzek from the Animal Rescue Center of Bay County, thank you so much for coming on the show.
And thank you for having us.
Thanks for everything that you do.
Thank
and don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And now for your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hi, I'm David Lovett, and this is your Mad Hatter Minute. Today, we're going to be talking about oil leaks. There's nothing more annoying than to move your car and see that big, black, grimy oil stain underneath the vehicle where it used to be parked. Oil leaks aren't only embarrassing, they're an indication of a problem and must be taken care of immediately. Gaskets and seals are what keep oil inside the motor. There are dozens of gaskets on the engine. There are gaskets on top of the motor, there are gaskets on bottom of the motor, there are gaskets on the left side, and there are gaskets on the right side, in the front, and the rear. Any one of these gaskets can fail, causing an engine oil leak. Oil leaks can evolve into a very serious repair. Should you not replenish the oil as you lose it, oil will not be available to lubricate the internal moving parts of the engine. Engine failure can occur. Some vehicles have gaskets that protect oil from getting on top of the spark plug. Should oil get on top of the spark plug as you're driving, a misfire condition will occur. Your car will spit and sputter and act like it's going to die while driving down the road. You'll think it's a very serious repair, but it's not. Best advice is to get it into a repair facility and have them check it. Replace the valve cover gasket and the valve cover grommets. The grommets are what separate the engine oil from the spark plugs. Clean the spark plugs and you should be good as new. Best advice, if you have an oil leak, take it to your trusted auto repair facility. Have them identify the oil leak and fix the problem correctly. I am David Lovett, and that has been your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hey folks, this is Joshua Brown with Mad Hatter on 23rd Street. Is your check engine light on? If it is, text MADHAT28, that's MADHAT28, to 24247 and we'll check it for free.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial, and you're going to give us some advice on how to finance a wedding?
Yeah, well, and right now it's really kind of wedding season, May, June, September, and October. Those are the big months where people hold, I guess, the most weddings around the country. And it is a very large expense.
It's a huge expense, depending on, you know, your background, I suppose, and what people like. Now, some people get married older, and they're financing their own weddings. But if you were like me, the blushing young man that I was, quite young, perhaps, and that could be a huge expense.
Oh, definitely. And today, couples are, more and more couples are paying for it themselves because, like you said, people are getting married later and they have their own careers, and so they're funding the wedding. And if that's the case, then I would certainly recommend against borrowing the money. I've seen people use credit cards, which is a really bad idea. But maybe instead of borrowing, setting yourself a very tight budget and living within that budget. So maybe instead of having the live band, like you said you had at your wedding, maybe you have a DJ, and instead of the crab puffs, maybe you have chicken wings. You know, just just in Panama City.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you're of a certain generation like I was, married back in 1984, you know, in New York, sit-down dinner, band, Viennese table, you know, everything except jugglers and clowns. It's a huge expense, and it's traditionally, at least from my wife's traditional Italian family, the wife's family pays.
Right. And that's that is still the case, although it is not inappropriate, I guess, to ask the groom's family to help out. And if that is the case, then the groom should always be the one to ask the parents, not the bride's parents asking. So,
and the groom, all he's really got to do is like show up sober or semi-sober,
right,
and then finance a honeymoon afterwards.
Absolutely.
If you're going to go the traditional route, like
or
that.
pick up the bar tab or the rehearsal dinner and that sort of thing. But the average around the country is about $25,000 for a wedding. Now, again, depending on where you got married, like you said, New York, it was a lot more expensive, I'm sure, than $25,000. And so that's a hefty amount to come up with for this one-time event. And you don't want to go into a marriage being in debt, which brings me to another subject. After you're married, there's a lot of things that couples need to do in addition to like combining accounts or not combining accounts. And one thing that's often overlooked is actually changing beneficiaries on their life insurance policies or their retirement accounts.
That is downright unromantic, but that's a conversation you probably need to have before you get married.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, how are you going to handle finances in your married life? Who's going to pay for what? For not just the wedding, but afterwards. You know, who's going to pay what bills? Are you going to pool your money?
Right. And I can provide some resources from the wedding planning, the financial part of wedding planning, as well as new couples and their finances and what they need to do from there on out.
What do parents usually do? Say you're somebody who has 3 daughters, and you've got to finance eventually 3 weddings. Do you start saving now? Or
I mean, I think absolutely you have to always be saving. And as you said, I have 3 daughters, so I wish there was some tax advantaged account that we could put money into, but unfortunately there's not. But always saving, even beyond your 401ks and your IRAs, having some other savings that you can use to fund those types of events.
I think weddings differ in different parts of the country. Different cultures and traditions and religions have different strings attached to that whole ceremony in that day. So you may be able to get out a little cheap, you know, if you just go with justice of the peace or have a small ceremony at the reception or whatever, right?
Right.
But you know, if you're like me, you got to do it.
Big.
Go large. You got to have limos and all that other
right.
stuff. Yeah. So.
Horse and carriage and 300 guests.
Military wedding, you know, cross swords.
Right.
Oh yeah, crazy stuff. So Heather Noyes, the best advice to parents is what? Save.
Save now, especially if you have daughters.
Yeah, not just for college.
Right.
You know.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah. Again, there's no substitute for time. And thank you so much for making me happy I had sons.
Right.
And coming back on the show. And we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. We're here with our friend Stephanie Sennett from Zoo World. And who's this on my shoulder?
That's a little bluebird, well, a little blue and red bird. That's Miss Susie. She is a red-sided eclectus parrot. And part of the parrot family, super intelligent animals. And actually one of the species that we can tell just by looking at her without a doubt that she's a female as opposed to a male.
How do you tell?
Actually by her colors. The females in that species are red and blue. And if you ever get a really close look at her, she's got beautiful blue eyeliner on. And the males are typically a bright green color with an orange candy corn kind of looking beak.
Well, she's a beautiful bird, and she's actually pretty well behaved.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Just don't do your business. Wait till you get back
already
in the
did.
cage. Oh, well, it's right down my back, right? That's right there.
It'll wash.
Now, what is this repulsive-looking creature here, and what in the heck is he eating?
Well, this is Topaz. She is actually a 20-year-old lizard, and she's one of our education animals, and she's actually quite nice. She is in the skink family. She is an Australian native, and these blue-tongued skinks are one of the largest in the skink family, generally only second to the Solomon Island skink, which has a green prehensile tail for hanging down from the trees.
You know, it's almost like God couldn't make up his mind. Lizard, snake, lizard, snake. I mean, is it related to the snake at all? Or?
In the sense that she's a reptile, yes. But she is a lizard. She does have the lizard features. She's got legs. They're not very long.
I got a bird nibbling
She's got
on my...
ears. She's just whispering sweet nothings to
really.
you. She does have eyelids.
They don't peck out eyeballs or anything, do they?
No,
These birds?
she's good. Nah, Susie's a lover.
But the skink is really he's really interesting looking, and it almost looks like gills, but I guess those are ear slits?
Those are her ears. One of the characteristics that makes her a lizard as opposed to, say, maybe a snake is the fact that she does have ears. No big fleshy pieces like we have for maybe a predator to grab hold of, but she does have external ears.
And I guess you've got some mealworms there that she's eating?
I do. I brought breakfast, and apparently she's just ready to move today. She's an active girl. Well, and that's usually actually top speed for her.
Are they cold-blooded like snakes? Do
yes.
They need to... Stop.
She's grooming you.
Grooming me for what?
I don't know.
But yeah, she's like nibbling on me, tickling me.
Little kisses. She really is a loving bird. These guys are reptiles, and they are cold-blooded. So it does rely quite heavily on the environment that surrounds it to tell it what to do as far as how active to be and how much to eat.
The warm lights in the studio are kind of waking her up.
Absolutely, she's loving it.
Yeah, she's got a nice warm comforter here and all that. Boy, the life of a skink. Pretty nice at Zoo World for skinks. So we have to run off to a break, but let's talk to some more of your friends.
Sure.
After these messages, and I get this bird off my shoulder. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with my friend Stephanie Sinnott from Zoo World, and we've got Starla the hedgehog over here.
Absolutely.
And I guess Starla likes these little mealworms as well. I mean, that's kind of a gross little breakfast, a little morning treat that's crawling around on this blanket. But she seems to be snapping them up pretty well.
Absolutely. For an insectivore, things that are crunchy on the outside and ooey gooey on the inside are quite a tasty treat, actually.
It's a crunchy little treat for her.
Absolutely.
It's like eating her Cheerios.
Or like croutons on the top of your salad, you know, however you want to look at it.
Well, chock full of protein, no doubt.
Absolutely. You know, she is a hedgehog. She's an African pygmy hedgehog, one of the smaller species. And these guys are typically nocturnal, so usually takes her a few minutes to wake up in the morning.
So we kind of woke her up today.
A little bit, but that's what the mealworms were there for, a nice reward for waking up with us.
So they're native to Africa, but do hedgehogs here in America, do we have them here?
We actually have hedgehogs native to Europe and Asia. We have more of the groundhog here. As a matter of fact, if you look it up, the history of Groundhog Day here in the United States actually stems from something that they used to do with hedgehogs over in Europe.
Go figure.
And they're not native here, so we kind of use the groundhog. But you know, she is an insectivore, and she is a hedgehog as opposed to a porcupine, both being covered with the quills. And the quills are really neat because they are very, very sharp and rigid and spiky, but they're also comprised of the same things that make up our hair and nails. They all have keratin in them. So we actually share quite a bit in common with some of these guys.
Now, do they eat any kind of vegetables? She's very jumpy.
So
am I, actually, but cut down on the coffee, will you there,
She
Starla?
does. She does eat vegetables. She'll eat fruits and vegetables, maybe cooked chicken, eggs. They really do like the insects. And she'll also eat a specially formulated...
Did that just like fall off me, that worm?
Just a fast food there.
I scratched my ear and a worm popped up. It's like,
which one of us brought the worms?
Yeah, you brought them, but I think I caught them from you.
But these guys will eat a varied diet, but primarily insects, and they'll spend most of the night foraging for food out in the wild. And sadly, you know, they don't have a very long life expectancy out in the wild. It may only be a few years. These guys, you know, may walk several miles per night on those cute little legs.
Do people keep them as pets? I mean, can you get one as a pet?
Some people do keep them as pets. There are some states where they're not legal to be housed as pets. One thing to remember is once a nocturnal, always a nocturnal. So she is still going to party all night and sleep all day.
That's true. Just like hamsters do, or
absolutely.
Any other
She can be accustomed to daytime activities, but she is still going to, at the end of the day, be a hedgehog.
Now, is a hedgehog a marsupial, a rodent, or what are we dealing with?
The insectivores, as opposed to porcupines that are actually rodents. So.
Okay.
Yep.
So kind of a little rodent. Stephanie Sinnott, thanks so much for bringing Staller and the rest of your friends in today. It's always fun having you and your friends on the show. And you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll see you next time.